What's up guys and welcome to the Surfing Connoisseur. Let's talk fancy surfer at J-Bay. So as you can probably see, I have now moved into my new house. So normal service shall resume. Been a bit quiet on the channel for a while. I will do my best to start increasing videos back up. As I've always said, I won't miss a fancy surfer video. Next event up is the 6th event of the year at Jeffreys Bay in South Africa. Before we dive into looking at the event, I want to congratulate Ocean Yeti for heading up and winning currently the Fancy Surfer League on the Surfer Mag website, and also massive congratulations to Fly High in the Sky, who's winning over the World Surfer League version. If you're not a member of the clubhouses, check the description below with links. So yeah, I'm looking forward as we head into J-Bay though now, not just because Fiji and the total mess that was is over. Like, there was some weird results happening and I got the impression that most people did pretty poorly at Fiji, and having done my J-Bay team, I'm much more optimistic at how well I'm going to do that. The event itself at J-Bay will run between the 12th and the 23rd of July. For those who haven't watched the event or don't know what J-Bay is, it's a right hand point break, and like any point break there's various phases as you're down, giving sort of different opportunities to surf in different ways, but it's a pretty fast wave. The barrel's quite high up on the wave, so whilst you can get barreled there, it's more for the forehanders than the goofy footers. In fact, the wave as a whole is technically better suited, based on results, to a regular footer. Regular footers, on the whole, definitely have a better track record there. However, as you'll see when we get into my team, that's kind of the rule, and I've kind of torn that up and thrown it away, because recently goofy footers have been scoring really well. The judges, I feel, are a bit more generous to them. I'm starting to lean towards goofy footers where you may not have done traditionally. I've had a quick look at the swell that is forecast obviously to help choose my team. It's currently looking like it's going to be pretty good. Magic Seaweed, looking at the first 7 days from now, so the first few days of the event window until the end of next week, it looks like we're going to have some good surf actually. Good surf and good winds. So let's dive straight into my Surfer Mag team. First up, I'm going for Geordie Smith. Despite having historically won the event at J-Bay, I believe twice, since it was reintroduced to the tour in 2014, he's actually had pretty tough luck there. Only making it past round 3 once in those 3 years. He did make it all the way to the quarters that time. So you may be asking why go for such an expensive surfer with a technically poor history there, and it's simply because not only does Geordie's style really suit the wave there, but he's local. He should be performing better there. I don't think his recent results really do him justice there, and I think he's going to buck that trend this year. He's having one of his best years on tour in general, and he's also coming off the back of a QS win. Next up, I've gone for the potentially risky option of dropping John Florence and replacing him with Matty Wilkinson. This is where I talk about I've torn up the rule book with the forehanders performing better there, and yeah, gone for the goofy footers who you wouldn't traditionally think are going to do well. My main reason to swap John for Matty is simply down to numbers. I think John's going to be really highly selected, as he always is. He's such a popular surfer, kind of Kelly Slater syndrome, that even if he's performing poorly, people would still be picking him just because of the popularity ratings. So picking Matty gives you that potential to leapfrog people there. Also, Matt has performed well at J-Bay in the past, reaching the semi-finals in 2014. And whilst he's had round 3 exits since then, in 2015 he did go out to a 19+ score against Gabriel Medina, which would have took most people out, so it's not that he necessarily surfed badly. Next up, I'm going for another goofy footer with another checkered history. Going for Ace Buchan. He reached the semis in 2015, and in the other 2 visits he's finished in round 3. He's one where I think just the way the judges score backhand surfing now, with his like surgical precision approach to it, could perform really well. In all honesty though, the reason that I've gone for Ace is that I wanted to get Matty and Geordie, or at least 2 $11,000 surfers in my team, and to do that I had to save money elsewhere. Ace was the best of that sort of price range, which allowed me to do that. Next up, I've got Mr. Reliable. I've got Adriano D'Souza. I've gotten a really good price from the start of the season, just keeping him cheap. And he's also just, as I say, Mr. Consistent. Like, there's no stop on tour where he couldn't perform well, and he generally makes a few heats, so for the price I've got him at, definitely keeping in my team. I'm finishing in the quarters in 2014 and 15, and a round 5 exit in 2016. He's actually historically got a pretty good track record at J-Bay in particular. It's also worth noting that he won a QS event there before it was reintroduced back to the tour in 2014. The next guy requires no explanation as to why I've chosen him if you have followed surfing, particularly at J-Bay, for any length of time, and even if you haven't, Mick Fanning, we all know what happened to him there a couple of years ago now, but his actual run of resorts at J-Bay is insanely good, even following the shark incident, going on to win the event last year. His style just really suits the wave. He is that forehand surfer that has a variety of really powerful, quick turns. He can exploit the barrel, as I say, on his forehand too, so he's just suited to the wave perfectly. I'd be surprised if like any less than 80% of people on Fancy Surfer didn't pick him. He's that good there, and he's that cheap at the moment. Now my final two, I wasn't left with too much money given my two $11,000 surfers. So I first went for Josh Kerr, who despite having a shocking year so far in 2017, has had a couple of good results at J-Bay in the past given his price. He finished in the semi-finals in 2016, round 3 in 2015 and made round 5 in 2014. Next up, I'm keeping Wiggly Dontis in my team, so I've got him a bit cheap at $3,250. Another goofy with a strong backhand. He's also got a history of 2 round 5 finishes, which again for the price so cheap makes him a pretty good selection if you can just make a few heats. Rounding off my Surfer Mag team, I'm going for Jadson Andre. Despite exiting the J-Bay event in round 2 in 2015 and 2016, he actually had a 17 in his score in both heats, which is a pretty damn good score, and to me suggests it was probably more bad luck than bad surfing as the reason he went out. I mean, a 17 would probably win most heats, especially that early in the event, so I think it's probably about time Jadson breaks his J-Bay curse. Now shooting over to the World Surf League version, I've managed to keep a pretty similar team. In my tier 8 I've got Geordie and Wilco. Tier B is where it differs slightly. I've gone for Mick, Wiggly Dontis and Ace Bucket, and I've rounded it off with a bit of a change. I've gone for Gabriel Medina, who was a bit too expensive on the Surfing Mag version to make him worth the selection for me. Every year for the last 3 years he has finished in the quarterfinals, so to do any different this year would be a buck of the trend. Rounding off my tier C, I've gone for Josh Kerr and Jadson Andre for the reasons I said earlier on in the video for my Surfing Mag version. So yeah, those are my teams, guys. I'd love, as always, to know what your thoughts, predictions, teams, etc. are, so please do let me know in the comments below. As I said earlier in the video, if you're not already in our Fancy Surfer clubhouses, check the links in the description below and I'll see you there. If you're not already subscribed, hit that circle there and subscribe to the channel. If you want to see some of the other stuff we do, whack that rectangle and it'll take you to some of the other content that I produce. I look forward to seeing you next time.